Woo! Alright, what is up everybody? It's Friday and I took a half day off work because I got some vacation hours I need to burn before the end of the year. And I had nothing else to do, so I figured I would get out on V-Strom, and with no destination or anywhere in mind to go, I figured I might as well bring it to West Point. Now, this is like an off-road park for those of you that do not know, located in southern Middle Tennessee, and I do not intend on regularly riding the V-Strom on, I never intend to have it on single track, but even double track, really. It's really just for dirt road exploring, and there are a lot of good dirt roads in and around this area that are public roads to ride. But I do intend on pulling off on some trails today just to see how the bike does, to scratch my curiosity's itch, maybe climb some hills and see how the bike does. I don't plan on doing anything too crazy, so I don't anticipate any serious problems or issues, but we'll go check out the bowl area. I don't know how rough a shape it's in. We may or may not be able to climb that hill and play around there, and then we'll go check out some other places and call it a day. Main goal is just to see, get a little better feel for how the bike does off-road. I have disabled ABS, so this is a 2011 V-Strom 650 ABS model. It's not switchable. You have no control over ABS being on or off aside from pulling the fuse. I pulled the 25 amp fuse. I forget what it goes to. There's two of them. One's a 40, one's a 25, and they're labeled. The plug is labeled on top of the fuse what exactly it goes to. But both of them are for different parts of the ABS system. So I pulled the 25 amp fuse, went out in the field behind my house, tested. I have no ABS front and rear. The ABS light is on, which is what I expected. But the last thing I need to do is come up here and try to go down a steep hill, lock up the rear tire, and then just freewheel to the bottom, because that's how the ABS system on these bikes work. It's not an off-road tuned ABS system. It's just a standard street ABS system, and so it doesn't work good off-road at all. It doesn't work good on gravel roads. It works good in the sense that you can't lock up the tires, but you also can't stop. If you just lock up the rear right now on this gravel, you just freewheel however long it takes you to eventually stop, and that's not good for riding off-road. Alright, here we are at the bowl entrance. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I'll get past the gate. There's a pretty steep little hill on one side. In addition to disabling ABS, I've also removed all my luggage, top rack and side racks. We're not going that way. That's unfortunate. You used to be able to shoot up through right here, but not now. Oh. And for those wondering why this way makes me nervous, I'm on 100% street tires. Dunlop, or actually I'm not sure if they're Dunlop or not, but Anarchy 3s, which at best, and I do mean at best, could be described as a 90-10 tire, 90% road, 10% off-road. But I wouldn't call them a 90-10. I would call them a 100% street tire. So not ideal for any kind of slippery mud. Dirt, not a huge deal. Mud, bad. One thing that does surprise me with the V-Strom compared to some of the other bikes I've had is how quiet it is in bumpy terrain. So like my KLR, which had, you know, way more travel in the suspension, just the body work, like the fit and finish of the body work, it would just rattle over some of this rougher terrain, even at slow speeds like I'm going now. The V-Strom, I guess the fit and finish on all the body panels is really good because you don't hear anything other than my keys jingling because I've got multiple keys. But I'm sure you could hear that. We're locking up the rear tire there at the top. So yeah, with ABS not turned off, that wouldn't have been very fun. We'd have just freewheeled as soon as we locked the tire. Oh. But this is pretty easy hill. It's every so often they come up here with a dozer and kind of grade the hill, and then over time it gets steeper and more rutted out, and then once it gets to the point where people are getting hurt trying to climb it, they come back and regrade it. So let's go see what we can find next. Like I said, I don't plan on taking this down any trails. I know of some trails I could probably get the bike down, but I'm here by myself. Last thing I need to do is get stuck between a rock and a hard place with a 500-pound motorcycle as an individual who is short. That doesn't usually help off-road, having to manhandle a bike around, 5'7". And also I'm not very large, 160 pounds, so I really would hate to get in a spot where I've got to try to pick this thing up a hill, or I don't know, do anything like that. Better off just to not risk it out here by myself. Alright, this next hill I'm going to check out is called Two Step. Well, because there's a step halfway up it, so it looks like you're climbing up 2 steps. And I haven't been back here in a while. I don't know how rough it is going to be. Or exactly how muddy it's going to be, for that matter. Alright. I'm going to go have a look at what I'm getting into before I commit to it. I feel like that would be wise given the situation. Looks doable, so we'll give it a shot. 10,999 miles on the girl. It does look like they've been getting more moisture here than I've been getting about 15 miles south, or a little more at my house. So that's what's kind of got me. I wasn't expecting everything to look so wet, but it's really not. It's just everything up here is kind of a rusty red clay, that the type of clay that stains like aluminum on your machine and stuff. So everything looks kind of wet and slick, but I haven't really found any slick spots aside from actual water holes or something. Alright, here's the hill. It is called Two Step because behind me is the second step. I'm on the first step. We're going to climb up the opposite side. Just hug to the right. Why the right? I don't really know. It's just what I'm feeling. I'm hopeful this won't be no real issue once we commit. Whew. There we go. I did not think about where I would go once I got up here, because every trail from here is kind of rutted unless it's been graded recently. So now I shall probably go figure that out. That don't look too bad. That one over there does look pretty bad. Street tires don't really slow you down that much going downhill. There's one other thing I would love to try on this bike. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. There is a hill known as pea gravel hill, fittingly because it's a giant pea gravel hill. But unfortunately, there's no top to the pea gravel part of the hill. You just eventually get to a spot that's so steep that there's no pea gravel on it, and by that point, the V-Strom's not making it. So I would have to stop on a pretty steep gravel slope, and I would have to turn the bike 180 and come right back down the hill. But I would love to see if it could make it. In the past, I've never not made it up pea gravel hill when I've attempted it, regardless what bike I had. But I have seen people not make it on bikes that you would think would make it. Now, I mean, conditions vary. But I've seen people not make it on like CRF 230s. So I would love to know if V-Strom can make it up that. So I might go check that out next. Alright, we're here at Pea Gravel Hill. I've been doing a lot of logging. But here is the trail, and as you can see, hopefully you can see through the camera, starts to turn into gravel right up here, and then it's that way all the way to the top. Maybe about 50 feet before you actually plateau to a flat top surface up there. The pea gravel kind of disappears. It's just mud and jagged rock, because it's so steep that the pea gravel just slides down. Man, I really wish I hadn't filled my gas tank up. This thing would weigh about 20-30 pounds lighter. I think I'm gonna try it. When I get to the top, after this little 2-track trail comes out at the top, it's not really the top, but it's just a wide, no trees, and it's just a pea gravel hillside, fairly steep. I'm just gonna try to pull to the left and stop, lean the bike uphill, and then we'll shimmy it, come right back down the way we went up. That's assuming we make it up. Again, I'm on street tires. And if we don't make it up, well, I don't know what I'm going to do about getting the bike down, because it's just going to be a more difficult, arduous task. I'm just going to try for first gear the whole way. Momentum's nice, but this thing probably is capable of like 30 mile an hour in first. I don't even know, but it's capable of enough speed in first, I'm hoping. And I'm hoping I get like a little bit of traction on this surface. That would be great. She is doing nothing but spinning. Woo! That was sketchy. Oh my goodness. I was underestimating the lack of traction the front wheel would have. Oh my. The front was just... To be honest with you, now that I'm up here, I'm a little more worried about going down than I initially was. Coming back down is going to be a bigger problem. I don't know that it's going to be a bigger problem than going up was, but it's going to be, I could be wrong. I just feel like now that I've made it up here with the bike, looking down it, going down is sketchier. All right, we got to commit and get the bike upright. Whew, all right, this isn't that bad. I mean, it's not over yet either, but yeah, the lack of front traction on the way up was something I was not accounting for. It had not really, was not really something that had even crossed my mind, that in this loose gravel, the front end would just be kind of like pushing into it. Yeah, it'd be like trying to ski without having any fins on the bottom of the skis. It's just like it doesn't want to track. Oh, okay. I'm not saying I'm never going to do that again, but definitely not without better tires. I think that might be a good place to end it today before I go push myself somewhere or into something that I shouldn't. Whew. I'm sure on camera it looks like nothing. It's like, oh, just riding down a dirt road. It's just uphill. What's the big deal? The camera. We all know the cameras never do stuff like that justice. Whew. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end it here. Hope you enjoyed it. It was fun up until that. That got a little sketchy, and trying to decide like halfway up when you realize it's getting sketchy whether or not you want to keep going or not, or try to stop, but we made it. So, we'll catch y'all on the next one.